Hey guys, this is Lala Legacy and welcome back to another episode of 1000 Lies. So before we jump in, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button because that would mean the whole world to me. And after this video, if you liked it, hit that like button down below as well. Alright, let's get in. Are you listening? I didn't receive any message, so I don't know if anyone else is coming or not. Do you mind waiting while Ausse and I go take a look? Earth to Indian! Why such interest in the committee, Ziva? And why did you want Ausse and me to join it with you? You're annoying, Indian. I've told you millions of times already. Yes, it's true that I may have lied a little about convincing the teachers to help you, but there's no hidden motive. It's too much work for me alone, it's too much work for me alone to do, and you guys are fun to have around. You shouldn't complain after how much I've helped you with Lucy. I dedicate a sharp look to the, imperturbable Ziva. Finally, I give up, scratch the back of my neck, and then walk into the classroom situated behind me. Don't take too long. Our group is once again visiting Anate Institute in order to establish the damned committee once and for all. I take my seat in a familiar spot, resting my back against the chair and forcing it to stand on two of its legs, with my own legs now on top of the desk. I lose track of time as I look at the ceiling and acrobatically twirl a pen between my fingers. Eventually, the door of the classroom finally opens again. Huh? You're back already? I stretch my neck and try to peer at the doorway, only to find someone totally unexpected. So much so, in fact, that it causes me to drop the chair to its original position. Ciaran, I finally found you! Claire excitedly walks over to me. You told me to join the committee, but I didn't know where or when it was. Luckily, I heard you guys would be meeting today, so I've been looking everywhere for it. I didn't miss anything, right? Her little hands hold mine, shaking them to greet me. But I can't find the words to speak with her after what happened on our last encounter. What's that face for? Is it the time of the month? What are you even saying? I angrily break free from her hold. I'm joking. I know you guys don't have those. Why do you look so concerned? Don't tell me that I've had a nerve. Have you held deep within you all this time the hidden desire to become a woman? What do you want from me, Claire? Why didn't you tell me sooner? Why did you have to hide the fact that those emails were sent by you? So that's the issue. Don't be silly, Ciaran. Silly? Silly? A stranger that somehow knew my email address started sending me threatening messages. Then I started having coincidental encounters with you, and now you're playing dumb as if nothing ever happened even though you admitted to doing it? How is that silly? A stranger? So that's what it's come to. Claire takes a deep breath and places her hands on her waist. I've never hidden anything from you, Ciaran, nor lied to you. As soon as the topic came up, I told you, and I don't regret any of it, not even a little bit. It was you, after all, who made me take the first step. I did what? Wait, all of that stuff you were saying the first time we met at the pond about your resolution, it was referring to me? Exactly! Although I sent the first email, I didn't really feel truly prepared, but once it all started, I couldn't just leave it half-baked. You always end up wondering what you did was... You always end up wondering if what you did was the right call, but no matter how hard the decision may be, you have to accept it no matter the consequences. And what are you trying to get? What do you want from me? What did I do to you to cause this sudden interest in me? Maybe magic? That's what I'd like to believe. I want to know you, Ciaran. Know who you are and stay by your side. Don't you think that under any other motivation I would have had 1,000 other better ways to go about everything? I don't know why I'm having so much trouble reading today. I want the truth. A truth that still can't define. After all, to me, the most important thing is that you're truthful. Truthful? What does this have anything to do with being truthful? How do I know that you aren't the one lying? You can't know that, Sierra. Nobody can. However, you could choose what to believe. And I still believe in those prideful words with which you told me that you wouldn't regret inviting me here. Tell me, Claire. No tricks or messing around. I want the truth. All of this is because you're in love with me? I don't know, but I like to believe that it was love at first sight. Wouldn't it become a perfect love story that way? The world suddenly seems to begin spinning at double its normal pace. I have too many questions with blurred answers of no value or resolution. Flee. Get away from here. Forget her. Make her disappear. Both of those are logical ideas that come to mind. But then there's Claire, slightly embarrassed and hiding under the brim of her hat, with a charming giggle, erasing all of my doubts. I have an answer prepared on my lips, but I'm interrupted by the always ready to pester me entourage. We're here because we came... Police! Legs up! What the heck are you doing now, Ausse? There's someone with India and it's a girl! Twit and Dimwit pop up at the best possible time, and immediately they react to my surprising companion. Oh, you must be Sieran's friends, the idiot and the witch, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, it's just a little girl. False alarm. Deactivating potential hottie analysis radar. Wait, did she insult us? Indian, you know that it's a crime to get with minors, right? I never expected this fetish from you. And telling her lies about us, too. You got what you deserve, so stop complaining. For starters, this girl is the same age as you. She's... I pause for a few seconds during the introduction. Both Ziva and Ausse look at me curiously, and Claire repositions her face to gaze at me, preparing herself for whatever it is that I may say about her and the consequences of such. This is Claire Arguris? I don't know how to pronounce the last name. A friend. She studies here at Anate, so I proposed that she could join us with the committee thing, and she accepted. Wow, really? Now that you mention it, she does seem familiar. Maybe from when I was studying here? Nice to meet you, Claire. I'm Ziva Shani, and the guy standing next to me is named Ausse, Aldwin? Ausse? Tell me it isn't true, Campanero. This girl can't be the same age as me. You're ruining everything I have ever believed in, all of my standards. I love hot women of all the different body types, oh god, and fashion styles, but I've always avoided eating the unripened fruits as a gesture of my gallantry as a gentleman. What? No, Ausse. If you show me such a creature that is born of both worlds, what should I believe from now on? What now stops me from becoming a monster? There shouldn't be a god capable of such a creation. See? An idiot. I told you so. Certainly, even more than I'd expected. Hey, Sieran, it was unnecessary, but I'm thankful that you didn't tell them everything about me. With Ausse making a ruckus in the background and Ziva trying to stop him, I can't help but sigh after Claire's words. I didn't want to break that which I alone made, nothing more. Consider this a truce, but there's still more I want to know, okay? That's okay. Especially when there are things I want to know about you too, Sieran. As soon as she finishes her sentence, Claire introduces herself to her new colleagues and I stay out of it. Did I do the right thing? I don't know. It seems like I'll never know what's going on whenever she's nearby. Oh, one more thing, Sieran. Don't ever put your nasty feet on my desk again. I have to learn there, you know. This is your desk? But I'm sure that it'll never be anything good. Taking some random chairs, we sit in what appears to be a circle situated close to the blackboard. Ziva tells us that they managed to find Lucy and that she'll be here in a minute, and it's precisely when we're talking about her that the door opens. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the, wait. An exhausted Lucy opens the classroom door and she's pulling the arm of someone I'm unable to see. They seem to be arguing about something in hushed whispers, making the atmosphere heavier for each extra second that they make us wait. My classmate here has some issues and asked me to come to the committee alone again today. However, we managed to resolve the problem in time and he agreed to come here by himself. Right? Lucy addresses the figure on the other side of the door, who's making it hard for her to get inside the classroom. Everyone else in the room shares the same foreign feeling from watching the scene unfold, except for Ziva, who scratches her head bashfully as if she already knew that something like this was going to happen. The unknown person finally makes their way inside with slow, heavy steps. His hands are tucked inside his pockets, and he lets out a loud yawn. Ziva already knows him, but allow me to introduce him anyway. This guy is Denise de Cruz? Denise, these are the guys that came from Jane for the committee. A lot of these words, I'm like, I have no idea how these are supposed to be pronounced. Dazine greets us by raising one of his arms in a slow and deliberate gesture. His stooped back, scruffy hair, bags under his eyes, and wrinkled shirt give off a careless first impression. His eyes shoot around the room, sensitive to the light. He blinks as if waking up from a comfortable dream, until they finally settle on me, followed by a clumsy greeting to us. Oh gosh. Hey. I see that you're looking as bad as always, Diz. Did you try to duck out? You could at least greet everyone properly. Don't be such a lazy ass. A pleasure for me to... Okay, a pleasure for you to meet me, Denise. If you're Ziva's friend, then I'll allow you to be my friend too. Name's Ausse, and my companero here is Sierra. But everyone calls him Sierra because it's shorter to say. What's up, Sierra? How's it going? His greeting catches me by surprise. He gives me a beaming gaze that makes it difficult to guess his intentions. I guess I can't complain. How are you? Excluding the fact that I've been trying to run away from a certain lady who wanted to bring me here, dead or alive. I'm perfectly fine. Better than ever, I dare say. I don't know what you mean, Diz. You came here all by yourself, didn't you? Yeah, whatever. How long is this thing gonna take anyway? I'll remind you that you accepted without complaint when I asked you to join. I don't even remember. I probably only accepted so you'd shut up, just like I did with Lucy. You girls could be such a pain in the ass sometimes. Have you no shame? Denise seems to fit in with the group pretty quickly, probably because he already knows most of its members. I, meanwhile, take a look at my left towards Claire, who has her eyes to the floor as she plays with the end of her skirt, just like I saw her do in the recent past when she was nervous. What's wrong? You look pale. Lucy and Denise are both from this school, yet neither of them are in your class? Not at all. We're all in the same grade, but from different homerooms. I know Denise, but I doubt he recognizes me. I'm not the kind of person who gets too much attention anyways, you know? Claire is unsuccessful in trying to appear composed. I know she isn't a sociable person, but that's precisely why I invited her to come here in the first place. Still, it's really hard to believe that the strange girl who never shuts up can become so different in front of others. I forgot to say hi to you, Claire. Did they force you to come too? Sierra invited me. Everything happened so quickly. I'm sorry for not telling anyone. Don't worry, girl. Deniz is supposed to be in charge of the committee. It's his fault for not paying attention. He's a little sloppy. I was here as a substitute for a day, and I ended up getting involved in this mess too, you see. Also, my name is Lucy. I'm from Class B. Nice to meet you, Claire. Lucy and Claire seem to get along fast, one keeping up her usual good girl facade, while the other is only able to answer with shy one-word answers that keep a good distance between them. Although they look like opposites, there seems to be some sort of connection forming between them, or at least that's what I think. At the same time, on the other side of the circle, Denise is having a conversation with Ziva and Ausse. No one would be able to tell that he's the new guy. On the contrary, he happens to share some friends in common with Ausse, so they're already getting along well. Suddenly, Denise sets his gaze upon me once again, which causes me to react surprisedly. He opens his mouth, making me assume that he's trying to say something, but that I can't hear it. In the end, he carelessly lets out a yawn. I shake my head and chuckle. It makes me realize that being the last one to get here doesn't really mean that he's the last one to join, because that position belongs to me. Once the introductions are over, each of us take our position in the circle, waiting for the first session of the committee to begin. None of the attendants except Ziva have any interest or knowledge of the issues we should be discussing in this meeting, so Ziva herself becomes the committee spokesperson after clearing her throat and starts with an introduction to the basics. Ziva explains that it's a tradition for both schools to prepare the graduation events together. This year, Duane, I'm pretty sure it's actually pronounced Duane, will be the host school, so we're the ones that need to make sure that everything works as it should. She gives us a sleep-inducing lecture on diplomas, speeches, invitations, parties, and God knows what else. I don't really pay any attention to it, and I'm not the only one. You only need to take a quick peek around the room to see the apathy. Denise is fast asleep, making small grunts and snoring noises from time to time. Lucy takes the opportunity to draw a mustache on him with a permanent marker that she has, for some reason. Claire is trying to hold her laughter in while watching the other two and hiding beneath her hat as usual. And Ausse and I are chilling and playing cards, unaware of our surroundings. Is anybody paying attention at all? Why are you guys playing cards right now? Sierra always has a deck on him. It comes in handy for moments like this. That and a lot of other things. As I always say, a man is as valuable as the contents of his pockets. You never said that. Stop making things up. You can't even stop playing the fool for just 5 minutes? What's wrong with you? These guys have no manners whatsoever. You can't count on them for anything. That's right, for... You two would have more credibility if you weren't drawing a mustache on Sleeping Beauty over there. What's going on? What are you doing with that marker, Lucy? Denise wakes up, bringing his hand to his nose when he feels that something is amiss, and immediately goes to the restroom to check a mirror. A blink later, he returns with an unsettling look on his face and rushes towards Lucy. What have you done? Have you seen this? You drew a mustache in a different color than my hair. Now they don't match. Quickly, use this other marker that I have with me to fix it. Mixing them should make the correct color. That's what you're worried about? Come on, Ziva. In the end, we're all going to do whatever you want us to. Don't be like that. Our leader crosses her arms with impatience and disgust as she gives off a small sigh. Part of her wants to get mad at me. The other wants to control herself in order to earn a place in heaven. That's exactly what this is about, Endian. We're gathered here for a reason. Catch my drift? Catch my drill? Of course you can. Let's go, Campanero. Let's do it. Keep your pants on. I know what you mean, Ziva, so let's get serious. It's hard to believe that when you say it while drawing a pair of glasses on Morpheus. Oh wait, no, glasses on Morpheus's face. Ignore him, Lucy. He's just jealous. Keep going. You know what? It's not fun if you let me do whatever I want. You can fix it yourself. Don't leave it unfinished. Now it looks like a monocle with an arm. That makes no sense. I need someone to finish it. Claire, are you interested? No thanks. Why did you hide under one of the desks before responding? As I was saying, I remember meeting with some friends from my basketball team during last year's graduation day to play one last game in the courtyard as a farewell to the graduating members. I know it isn't anything special and that not everyone will be interested, but maybe we could do something like that officially, in addition to everything else, of course. Lucy's proposal manages to intensify the debate, creating a storm of ideas in which everyone gives their own version of what they believe would be the best way to say goodbye to our schools. Some ideas are more ridiculous than others, or even impossible, taking into account our resources. The truth is that I consider all of it excessive, and I assume that everything will end with an all-night grad party at a locally rented building like every other year. After tossing out ideas, everyone seems to reach a consensus. Everyone, at least those who are listening, proudly give their approval. Is that okay with you, Indian? Can you see yourself participating? It may be my attitude that causes all eyes to fall on me after the discussion, as if they were looking for an endorsement that they don't need. I'm so sorry, guys. Like, my brain is not working very well right now. I've been having a lot of issues struggling, like, with my lupus, so my lupus brain is, like, really bad. Sorry. You're going to do whatever you want, right? I told you before that I'll follow along no matter what you decide to do, Ziva, but don't get used to it, okay? Ziva takes an eternity to smile, with a heavily satisfied look on her face. It makes me feel like she thinks she's won some sort of battle that I didn't even participate in, forcing me to avert my gaze. The dialogue, or more like chatter, gets longer and goes off topic to unfunny jokes that, for some reason, still make us laugh nonstop. I have to admit, despite being the principal dissonant sound all throughout the committee's meeting, it sure does feel like time flies by now. Before I realize it, Ziva demands our attention once again, this time to bring the meeting to a close. Well, I think this should be enough for today. We can always have another meeting when it comes up, or if something comes up, but for now, I think we all know what we have to do. I'm going to notify them that we're done. Can an innocent soul that studies here come with me to help explain the situation to the teachers? Ziva is clearly staring at the only other woman in the room as she asks. Sure, I'll go too. Wouldn't one be enough? Okay, I'll come. You don't have to push. Oh, I guess I read it wrong. It was women. The ladies' trio leaves the classroom with more aspiration than they let on. It was as obvious an excuse as saying they needed to powder their noses. After all, Ziva was a student from this school not too long ago. She should know the teachers here well enough not to need any help. Their departure opens a gap between those left behind. The room is now filled with an inescapable silence, or at least until Ausse decides to open his mouth. Well, it seems that us men are all alone now. I was waiting for this opportunity. I think the two of you have some explaining to do. Denise and I look at each other, both sharing the exact same expression. What is he talking about? Less feigning ignorance and more answering. Come on, which girl do you guys like best? Then I realize that it's Ausse who's talking. What else could it have been? We're all gentlemen here, so we should be able to reach an agreement. 3 girls, 3 boys, the answer is quite obvious. They're all mine! Weren't you pretty concerned about Claire possibly being underaged before? Did you manage to get over that crisis already? Well, I've had enough time now to build our love nest close to the beach, where we'll spend the glorious rest of our days together running a bar for the tourists. I must admit that the speed of your imagination is as overwhelming as ever. I know, but you can leave the praise for later. Now, I would like to know how Denise feels about all of this. Although because you were the last to join, you don't get any priority when choosing. There's not much to say. I've been studying here for my entire life. Both Lucy and Ziva have been my classmates for quite some time. I don't know Lucy as well, though. She came to this school later. When was it? 3 or 4 years ago? The point is, Ziva transferred schools this past year, so consequently I lost contact with her. Before that, though, the three of us were all friends. I met Claire more or less at the same time as Ziva. However, we've always been in different classes and we aren't close at all, to be honest. It's like she purposely avoids unnecessary contact with others, you know? Basically, I'm not serious about any of them, if that's what you're worried about. I see. You've had the awful luck that girls like Ziva transferred schools to stay by my side. That's the problem with my magnetic sexuality. He's so gross. I'd like to be less handsome, but it's the perfection that chose me, not the other way around. I think he actually believes all the stuff he's saying, too. I came here about 6 years ago after traveling around half the world with my parents. That's when I met my companero here. He was also a newbie who had just enrolled in Duane and was in need of my guidance. Look at us now, inseparable. Not so much inseparable, let's just say that I felt pity. In any case, we could all agree that all of the girls are mine. You, Deniz, are the last one to join, but maybe you could still get some leftovers by licking their boots from time to time or something. And Sierre, well, Sierre has his dolls, figurines, or whatever. He doesn't count. Be respectful. They may not be human, but they have dignity. Come on, companero, let's be serious. They're tiny heaps of plastic. The you can lick my boots guy is talking to me about seriousness? You shouldn't underestimate someone's wishes, Ausse. Have you ever heard of the, Pygmalion effect? Ausse shrugs, clueless as to what Deniz is talking about. The Pygmalion effect is an incident where a person, through his or her own beliefs, or that of others, manages to achieve something with faith alone. It's like the ability to realize your dreams if you believe that they'll come true. Its name comes from the Greek myth of King Pygmalion, who sculpts a statue of a woman named Galati or Galatia? I think it's Galati. He falls in love with her. I remember this story, though. His love and desire to be with her is so strong that Aphrodite, the goddess herself, answers his prayers to bring her to life. Are you telling me that if you believe hard enough, you can make plastic figurines come to life? Of course not. Myths are simply stories that have a lot of variations of unknown origins. In any case, if this is the version that has been passed on for generations, there must be a reason, right? I'm unconvinced no matter how you put it. What do you think, Sierre? Me? That you're both crazy and even more crazy than the old Greeks, apparently. We're back, guys! Ziva happily walks into the middle of our conversation without paying any mind to how important what we men were discussing might have been. But it's not like we had anything else to discuss anyway, so the three of us settle down and let Ziva speak. We're finished for today, so you can start tidying up the classroom before it gets late. Contrary to Ziva's enthusiasm, the two girls accompanying her share a disconnected expression as they enter. Or discontorted? I don't know. I don't know if I read that right. I'm reading too fast. My brain is not working. Both of them look at me, one reflected on each of my eyes, but it's Ziva's voice that wakes them up and causes everything to return to normal. The meeting ends, and even though we only talked, I still feel totally exhausted. When they propose that we hang out a bit longer, I have to politely decline their invitation. I'm not the only one who goes home instead, either. Denise disappears as if he were some kind of prisoner on the run, and Claire announces her departure with a bashful voice, weak as that of a newborn baby bird. Each goes their own way, taking different paths even though our town is exceptionally small. But it doesn't take long until I have my first re-encounter. I hear a certain voice, the way it's meant to be, and not the shy, fake one she feigned only minutes ago. Wait up, Sierran! Do you mind if I walk with you? Your house is in the same direction as mine. I nod indifferently and wait for her to catch up so that we could continue onward. Whatever you want, but how exactly do you know where I live? Why wouldn't I know, Sierran? I stop. I was half joking, but her answer is too large of a red flag for me to ignore it. Seriously? Seriously what? About my address. How do you know it? I followed you home before, so there's no mystery to it. I thought you were more intelligent than this, Sierran. What else could it be? Impossible to compute logic. Please contact the manufacturer immediately. Claire, I probably shouldn't ask this, considering my criminal record, but how would you feel if I told you that I've been secretly following you around? Well, why not? Everyone is free to do whatever they want. I'll get straight to the point since we aren't getting anywhere. Is your room filled with pictures of me all over your walls or anything like that? Of course not! Don't you have any sense of taste? Such self-centered style wouldn't be good for feng shui, Sierran. I could sense legitimate displeasure coming from Claire as we speak, as sincere as everything that comes from her. It doesn't detract from the importance of her words though, but it certainly makes them appear even more bizarre. I'm going to get serious because we still aren't getting anywhere. Please try to give me a clear explanation for all of this. I don't see the problem here, but okay. I want to know why you chose to approach me as you did. All of those emails suddenly came out of nowhere, and now you're telling me that you've been stalking me. If you wanted to speak with me, it would have been easier to, I don't know, ask? Why did you have to make it so complicated? Sierran, we've already discussed this. You're never going to calm down until you find the answer that suits you the most, not the truth, am I right? Claire shakes her head, displeased with no intention of responding any further. Nevertheless, because I refuse to give in, she reluctantly decides to speak once again. Would you have considered it any less weird if I'd spoken to you directly out of nowhere? Would you have remembered me all the same if I was normal? I could see her breathe as she huffs out those two questions. She's highly offended, but shouldn't I be the one that's upset in this situation? Why wouldn't I remember you? Had you wanted to make some sort of impact on me before we met? No, Sierra, no, it's the exact opposite. Disheartened, she turns away from me and keeps walking along. It may be impossible to see the problem when I don't even understand what she means, or maybe I'm unable to achieve anything if I only stand back and watch. Claire, wait! I'm not going to change my answer even if you keep asking. I want to know one more thing first, something I almost completely forgot about. If it's true that you were the one who sent me those emails, then what happened to that order I made online? Where did my package go? Ah, that! Yeah, if I remember correctly. You don't know where it is? Do you think I'd ask that if I already knew the answer? Seriously? You should have recovered it already. Maybe you don't recognize it. What are you saying? Can't you tell me what you did with it? Me? Nothing you don't already know about. I have no idea where it could be, but I'll investigate. It must be somewhere. But it could still be on its way, don't you think? I've already checked the tracking and it said it was delivered. Poor Sierran. See, it's like I told you, you have everything backward. Backwards? What do you mean? Will you ever explain anything in a way that I can understand? Clearly, please. A few minutes later, Claire says goodbye to me at the intersection where our routes split off. I'm too exhausted to continue any longer with that incoherent dialogue. For now, it's just easier for me to believe in her. Believe in the lovely girl that follows me everywhere and thinks that nothing bad can ever happen. I must stay by her side, even despite the facts of the matter. I decided to stop questioning her and leave it for another day. For now, I'll simply have to have faith. Campanero, I need your chemistry notes. My notes? You? Are you sick or something? It's me, the one who always steals your notes. I mean borrow them. Yeah. Gonna give them to me or not? I can't be the only one who's noticed Ausse's personality change. He's been like this all week, ever since that meeting with the committee. Any good friend would be worried and would have asked him what's going on, or what's wrong, or how he's feeling. Thank God I'm not one of those people. Oh God. I have a slight idea of what thoughts he could be harboring, and I'm pretty sure it's stupid, but I'm getting annoyed by all of his sighings. I guess I'll risk it and ask him about it. It's none of my business, but what's wrong with you? You aren't the fittest to ask that, Sierra. Everyone has their bad days. I almost ran out of empty pages in my notebook, and I will have to buy a new one soon, for example. Those 5 minutes it takes me to go to the arts and crafts store to buy a new one are always terrible. You have to talk to human beings, wait in a line, stuff like that. Are you comparing shopping at an arts and crafts store with my issues, Campanero? You have no heart. It's all your fault. What have I done now? Don't tell me you're still bothered by what happened with Claire. Don't you see? You've broken the invisible wall that divides the truth from lies. Now nothing can stop my libido from controlling my mind. And what happened to your bar on the beach, if I may ask? We're facing eviction because we built it in a protected area. Those ecologists won't stop at it until they have had our heads chopped off. So you've been thinking about it, and now you're punishing yourself because being attracted to someone with the body of a little girl doesn't change the fact that you're attracted to little girls. Maybe it'd be easier if you paid attention to something that isn't a physical trait. I don't know, her personality, for example? Her perky what? Why do I even bother? You don't get it, Campanera. It's not just that. We're supposed to be a duo, right? I'm the handsome, elegant, dandy one, and you're... well, you. Me what? Finish that. Suddenly, there are a lot of girls surrounding you. Where does that leave me? I don't know, quarterback? You're so funny. I'm serious. That's never been an issue for you. All the cute girls in the world belong to you, isn't that your motto? You're right about that, Campanero. As you know, I'm a free spirit who's able to adapt to any situation. What I'm interested in is your opinion. Are you going to take responsibility? Unlike you, I don't have a magnet embedded in my pelvis, so many women have suddenly disappeared, that so many women have suddenly appeared in my life doesn't mean anything. Love is a two-way street, Sierra. It's like that regardless of what, if you're on the receiving or giving end, even when there's indifference. I hope you don't think you have to adjust yourself to everyone else's preference, even if it's hard because no one really knows their own preferences. So if I end up admitting that I like little girls, then I shall accept it, and you should do the same. No. In short, you want someone to tell you that you're not a sexual predator that should be sent to jail. That's not all, but please, do tell me that I'm not a monster. Can we have a little experiment to test it out? You're always talking about hotties, but you've never mentioned where you draw the line for women to fit into that group. As long as they fulfill the minimum requirements, their origins, height, weight, race, and cup size don't matter. Although the cup size is a plus. And what's the minimum? Dunno. A minimum. Who has the right to define the features that make a woman an angel? You could consider it a sixth sense of mine. But there must be a limit, and I've come up with a way to test it out. We could start with some obvious features and move on from there. Listen to me carefully, okay? You have to imagine your perfect woman, understand? Your ideal girl. But let's change some of the details about her. You have to tell me, even after those changes, you're still attracted to her or not, so we can move on from there. My ideal woman? Maybe someone like Ziva, I guess. Terrible taste, but I'm not one to intervene. Let's start with something easy if you feel up to it. Imagine your ideal woman, but she's missing an eye, and she wears an eye patch. Would you still like her? Which eye are we talking about, the left or the right? I don't know, it doesn't matter. Of course it matters. That way I know which cheek I can steal a kiss from without her noticing. Give me a second. Gotta puke. You probably think you sound like a Casanova or something. And if instead of an eye patch, it's a lazy eye, one of the eyes that looks everywhere except where it should. A good excuse for me to get lost in her gaze. If you keep it up with those types of answers, I'm out. You're just jealous of my poetic talent. The word you're looking for is ashamed. And what do you think about an unstable girl? Just like your ideal woman, but she's bipolar. 2 is always better than 1. Being with her would be like a threesome. Think about it. As if you've ever thought in your entire life. Then what if she's deaf-mute, for example? Less talk and more love. What's wrong with that? What about a blind one? You can see the important things with your heart. Burned. If she had half of her body burned, I'm sure that you wouldn't be able to handle it. She would burn anyways, in the fire of my passion. No arms. Easier to hug. No legs. She wouldn't even need them where I can carry her bridal style all the time. Besides, legs are an inconvenient obstacle for... Enough! What's wrong with you? You don't care in the slightest about people's conditions or what? It could be Mrs. Potato Head changing her body parts and you still wouldn't mind. Hey, you're the one who's in love with plastic figures. As long as they're alive, it's fine with me. Honestly, that is... Despite all of what he said about, the little girls thing, obviously age should definitely matter. But his mindset about, bodies and, disabilities, all that kind of stuff is a really, 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 really good mindset to have. I'm starting to doubt that. Well, if it was a zombie girl, I can't say that I wouldn't. What? Why are you looking at me like that? While I ponder on which distant planet my respect for this man resides upon, Ziva enters the classroom quite excitedly. As soon as she sees us, she comes over with her usual greeting. Hello, hello! How are my favorite guys? We were just talking about you, Ziva. I'm pretty sure that dingus here is lying, so to prove him wrong, I have to gouge out one of your eyes. You don't mind, right? Oh, wait, what do you mean? Gouge one of my eyes out? What? What are you going to do with that pen? I was thinking about drawing an eye patch on your face, considering I don't have a real one, but if you prefer that I really do gouge your eye out, then we could do that. Not a step closer. You're exhibiting symptoms of severe psychosis. Stop before... Ah! As I try to grab hold of Ziva, she trips over a table situated behind her and falls on top of it. Oh no. Cornered, I grab both of her wrists with one of my hands, and with the other, I remove the cap of the pen. Right now, we could try and see how you'd look without legs. I'll start marking the cuts just like a surgeon. Stop! Stop! Don't go putting anything down there, it hurts! Don't do it on me, no! Come on, stop complaining. This couldn't possibly hurt. It's not that big at all. I don't care, what? Where are you looking? Oh. I should have guessed with the bad luck I've been having lately. But as I follow Ziva's eyes, I find the new substitute teacher astoundedly watching us from the doorway. Oh my, let me guess. You came running when you heard Ziva screaming, "Don't go putting anything down there, right?" This frightened teacher nods. Let me tell you something. It's exactly what it looks like. That's not true, don't make it worse! They aren't going to believe me anyway. This is more original and unexpected. Let's have some fun. Seriously, Onion? Seriously?
Okay, after that whole clusterfuck, that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. Sorry, I'm stretching my back, and it's cracking in every possible spot that you could imagine. Anyways, so yeah, that's it. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and yeah, I will see you next time. Bye!